Ellen Langdon looks forward to enjoying a good dinner with her family. She doesn't often have a chance. Her son's away at college. Her daughter is dieting. And even when her busy husband is home, he holds things up. Tonight, he's already asked for a 5-minute delay.
Time's up, Dick. I'm ready to serve.
Good. It's another 5 minutes, okay, dear?
Dick? I don't suppose anything will be the worse for it. Well, let's you and me go and get the salad, huh?
You said dinner'd be on time. You never keep any promises to
No,
me.
it's just 5 minutes more, honey.
But he says 5. It can be 10. It can be 15. I already told you. The kids are coming for me at 1:15.
You are not going without eating.
Who's going out on a school night?
Mom said I could.
Now, I said you could if you ate your dinner, a good dinner for once.
I don't care. If she eats a horse, she's not going out on a school night.
Honey, it's not like going out on a date. It's just Tom Robbins got a new car. He's taking the kids for a ride.
Well, that's going out.
It's just a short ride. If it gets her to eat, I think you'd cooperate.
Well, maybe if you stop nagging her, she'd do a
I
lot
don't
better.
nag.
You do too. And I'm already fat. Why do you want to get me fatter?
You're not fat, Lisa.
And you're not going out. You're going to sit there and eat your dinner. Now you've got to eat.
Even if I sat at the table, I wouldn't eat a bite. There they are. I'm going.
No, Lisa,
You come
wait.
back here, you lady.
You gotta eat. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get her to eat?
Mom's right. How do we get anyone to eat? We all have to eat in order to exist. But then why do some people refuse to eat when hunger is normal? In fact, biologically, it's a motivation for survival. Well, obviously, hunger is not only biological. For example, if you oversleep some morning, you may skip breakfast in order to get to work or to school on time. Satisfying your hunger is less important than being on time. What motivates you to eat, or to do anything, depends on a complex set of influences, both within your body and in the world around you. Psychologists have trouble describing motivation. Often when they study motivation, they observe how people behave and then try to figure out why. Did you know that the word motivation means to move? If you want something, then you move, you act, to get what you want. Sometimes it's easy. But other goals, such as exploring the moon, require greater motivation. You try to catch a ball because it's fun, or because it's an achievement, or because other kids do it. Do you need to compete? Motivation comes in many forms. Lindbergh was motivated to fly alone across the Atlantic before transatlantic flight was considered possible. Politicians are motivated to compete for high office. Maybe motivation starts with where you are, who you're with. We certainly have many motives for what we do, and hunger is no exception.
First prize today is $200. Okay, contestants, are you ready?
Yeah.
Judges, are you ready? Ready. On your mark, get set, eat.
The stomach or the brain tells you you're hungry, so you eat. But there are people who eat even when they're not hungry. And there are people who refuse to eat even when plenty of food is available. Why? Is the food unattractive? Does this young woman think she's unattractive? Maybe she's not getting along with her parents, or they're not getting along with each other. The point is, what we eat, where we eat, and with whom we eat are all big influences on whether we eat and how much. Motivation to eat comes from many sources. On a simple level, hunger is a biological need. Certainly, we all must eat to survive. But what gives us that biological motivation to eat? Understanding the process of digestion gives us some clues. As food digests, chemicals in your mouth and stomach break down the food you eat into simple molecules, many of them sugar molecules. Then the walls of the small intestine absorb these molecules and pass them into the bloodstream. Here, any hungry cell in the body can use the nutrients. Research suggests that part of your brain, in the hypothalamus, works like a sugar detector. When your blood sugar is low, your brain's sugar detector tells you you're hungry. And you do something about it. This sugar detector in the brain is called the feeding center. In some experiments, the feeding center is stimulated electrically. This cat has electrodes implanted in her brain. If we stimulate the feeding center electrically, the cat will eat, even though she had a big meal just before the experiment. But another part of the brain tells the cat she's had enough to eat. That's the satiation center. Stimulate this center, and even a hungry cat will refuse food. Hunger works like a thermostat. When the blood sugar drops, the feeding center switches on. You eat. So the blood sugar goes up, and the satiation center switches on, and you're no longer hungry. But it's not always that simple. Even if we remove both the feeding and satiation centers, the animal often will eat pretty much as it did before. So there must be other systems in the brain that influence hunger. Here's one, the swallow counter. The brain may actually count the number of swallows you make as you eat, and then signal when you've swallowed enough. So if you want to eat less, all you have to do is swallow more often, chew more, and eat more slowly. And your brain might say you're full long before your blood sugar goes up. But there's still more to the biological puzzle. Stomach contractions. They tell your brain you're hungry. But even if you don't eat, contractions, like these in an actual stomach, will stop, and you no longer feel hungry. So the biology of hunger is quite complicated, but it's not the only factor. Motivation to eat also includes social and cultural factors. Most of us start eating the same food, milk, often mothers. Then, as we grow, our eating habits are influenced by what foods are available. In some parts of the world, not much is available. But there is a great variety of foods in other parts of the world. Like spices of life, the types of food available and the way they are prepared vary widely, from country to country, and from culture to culture, even in the same country. Religion, too, affects the way we eat. In some religions, certain foods are taboo. Observant Jews and Muslims don't eat pork. Until recently, many Catholics didn't eat any meat on Fridays. Social and cultural factors, like law and tradition, influence the eating habits of millions of people. But even within a group, we're still individuals. And many factors other than biology, geography, and culture motivate us to eat. Perhaps you've just finished a good meal. But some things taste so good, you'll eat a lobster claw or a piece of cheesecake, even when your stomach can't possibly feel a need for food. Why? Because the food looks good? Because you're enjoying someone's company? The way you look at the world, your feelings, your emotions, are what psychologists call intra-psychic influences on what you do. Intra-psychic influences are an important part of any motivation, including hunger. The taste, sight, and feel of some foods are quite appealing. But there are others that you'd just as soon dispense with altogether. Intrapsychic influences on eating begin very early in life. Sigmund Freud had a theory that many people still think holds true. Freud noted that an infant has a very strong need to suck. A baby depends on sucking and touching for health and happiness. According to Freud's theory, if babies don't have enough opportunity to satisfy oral needs while young, later in life they'll develop an exaggerated need, as one expert put it, to exercise the mouth. Psychiatrist Dr. Robert Lynch talks about this oral stage of life.
I would suggest, for example, that in the oral phase, the child seems to have the perfect conditions for life, the Garden of Eden. We all have our own story of the Garden of Eden, and it seems that there's some kind of almost internal clock mechanism within the child which determines how much actual time he needs within this perfect dependency state we might call the Garden of Eden. Now, if he's driven out of the Garden of Eden before this absolute amount of time that he needs is fulfilled, he may have certain real problems in life. These seem to manifest themselves in psychological rage, a kind of state of anger and lack of fulfillment, and he may go raging through life, sort of devouring everything in sight. He may be a consumer of the world and contribute very little himself to the world. And the kinds of things that may result from this rage will be overeating, smoking, alcoholism, the use of oral drugs.
Look at early intrapsychic influences on eating from another angle. As children, you want to please your parents, to be good. Mom seems to care if you eat. She pushes you to take one more bite, and then smiles and praises you when you do.
That's right. Here we go. If you go to bed, I'll give you a graham cracker.
This attitude may stay with you as an adult, so that every time you feel discouraged or depressed, you eat in order to feel better, and probably something sweet.
No, I want the whole plate clean.
Many parents insist that it's virtuous to eat everything on the plate, instead of letting the child decide for herself. And then she gets sweet food as a reward. Perhaps parents should let children decide when to eat and when to stop. Then as adults, they might eat more wisely. But no matter what parents do for children, other factors enter. Often, intrapsychic and social influences combine.
You're traveling with the right crowd this time, and the drink is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is the right one for people on the go. Modern people, beautiful people. People who know what they want Coke. Because Coke has a tingling, upbeat taste. Keep plenty of Coke on hand, and let the world know who you are.
We can see a combination of factors influencing Lisa's eating problem. It's been difficult, but now she's beginning to take charge of her life. Lisa and her parents are in family therapy. Talking to the counselor and to each other has helped all of them. Therapy really works for many young people with Lisa's problem. She may have a disease. It's called anorexia nervosa, a chronic loss of appetite. It affects 1 out of 300 teenage girls in the United States. Lisa seemed to make dieting her whole life, but even though she lost weight, she still saw herself as being fat. Therapy helped Lisa realize this. Becoming an adult is not easy for anyone, and you may feel there's no one you can talk to. Lisa's parents are beginning to appreciate how important they are to Lisa, and that they're a family. They can talk. They can relax together. They might even enjoy dinner. Food. ambrosia, a feast for the eyes and the palate. Most people don't have Lisa's problem. They are over, not underweight. But do overweight and underweight people share the same problems?
I've been overweight for probably about 2 years. I think I'm about 15 pounds, and I carry it mostly here and down here. And my mother's always bugging me to do it, to get on a diet, and she gives me not so subtle hints. How's the diet going? Are you losing any weight? Did you step on the scale today? And she stopped asking. And I don't know. I think she's given up on me. So I'm going to do it now.
How others see you and what you think of yourself are part of the problem of overeating. One psychologist, Stanley Schachter, has concluded that people of normal weight eat when their bodies tell them to eat. That is, when their stomachs contract or when their feeding centers are active. But Schachter believes that obese people don't listen to their bodies. Just the opposite. They listen to the world around them. In the late 60s, Schachter studied both normal weight and overweight college students. The overweight ones ate a great deal more when offered good-tasting food than those of normal weight. When the food didn't taste good, overweight people ate a great deal less than normal people. Schachter also found that overweight people were plate cleaners. They ate everything, whether portions were large or small. But normal weight people left something on the plate or asked for more if the portion was smaller than what they were used to. Normal weight people seemed to eat only what their bodies needed. Overweight people were influenced by external factors. Other studies reveal other influences on obesity. For example, social and economic class affect eating habits. Men and women of the so-called upper economic classes are thinner and healthier than those of the so-called lower classes. Another social factor may be the people we love. Parents may show children love by overfeeding them. Some husbands also feel a need to make their wives fat and to keep them that way. It makes some husbands feel powerful.
Diet. Why don't you skip the diet for tonight? Richard makes them fantastic.
Enjoy it.
It's really good.
Enjoy it.
I'll give you a taste. You can have a little.
When I'm skinny and gorgeous.
Well, you look all right to me.
Some husbands think a fat wife will have to be faithful. Or maybe a man thinks having a fat wife makes it all right for him to play around.
Plum pudding,
With custard and strawberries and homemade whipped cream with almonds and cherries on the top.
butterscotch surprise, little nail chocolate fudge
That's
cake,
the one.
and you put in vanilla and chocolate cake is very good. Do you have any
chocolate fudge cake? It's like a brownie.
Do you have any strawberries? I'll have to share. Strawberries would be great. Okay.
Most people do care about what they eat and how much, because they care how they look. But because there's no simple cause of obesity, losing weight is difficult. Everyone should consider what they eat because good nutrition is part of good health and vitality. But knowing what's good for you and doing something about it are two different things. It's not easy to eat only what's good for you. And advertising doesn't help. Advertising seems to motivate you to buy. And to be lazy.
Say, do you have any, are there any instructions for these?
What motivates us to eat? What makes some foods more attractive than others? Well, if you'd never seen an uncooked potato before, you might wonder what to do with it, too. It's not the shape and color that we say makes me hungry just to look at it. Not like a bunch of grapes, for example. Or a piece of rich chocolate cake. But this cake might have a very different effect on someone else, someone trying to lose weight, or someone with an allergy to chocolate, or with a cultural preference for fig and nut pastries. We eat or don't eat for many, many reasons. Hunger is a basic drive, but the motivation for hunger, like any of our motivations, is a mixture of biological, intrapsychic, and social behavior. Our eating habits are the result of our total life experience.